everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video I'm really excited for because it's going to kick off a new series on my channel, the Beauty Battle series. Basically what I'm going to be doing with the Beauty Battle, each time I post a video I'm going to have a couple of rounds within each video, and I'm going to be pitting two makeup products that are very similar to one another against each other, telling you a little bit about them, and then declaring one a winner. Today's video is going to be focused on eyeshadow palettes, so the 4 different rounds in today's video is going to be sister palettes, colorful palettes, pastel palettes, and then also dupe palettes. So I'm excited for this Beauty Battle series. If you are, and if you have any other ideas or categories that you would like to see in the future, please do, of course, let me know in the comments. But if you want to check out my first Beauty Battle video, why don't we go ahead and get started. Alrighty, I have had this video idea for the longest time. It has been on my list forever, so I'm really excited to kick it off. And I wanted to kick it off eyeshadow palettes for a couple different reasons. I feel like people would be interested in that because eyeshadow palettes are always like good amongst like the chatter and whatnot, but also because I have an eyeshadow palette declutter coming up. Like it's been looming on my schedule, and I thought this would be a good way to kind of go through my collection and see what it is I prefer. So the first one that I want to talk about is sister palettes, and to be honest, I'm not for sure these are totally considered sister palettes, but I'm gonna go ahead and call them that. But I wanted to include these because I'm getting a lot of questions over which one I would recommend. So the palettes that I am talking about are from Morphe. They are the 25A and the 25B palettes. These palettes did release at the same time. They are very similar to one another. You can tell with, I mean, packaging, number of shades, the amount of shades that you're getting, and all of that. Like price is exactly the same. And I've had a lot of people say, especially once Morphe came into Ulta and these palettes came onto Ulta, people have said, which one would you recommend, the 25A or 25B? So that's why I wanted to include these as the sister palettes for this video. So like I said, they are the same price. They are $18. You can get them on the Morphe website, and you can buy both of them together for, I think it'd be a $2 discount if you purchased the two of them in that bundle. But I'm not sure, the last time I checked it was sold out somehow, which is weird because both palettes were still available at that time separately, but I don't know. There's that. You get 25 pans in each one, and they are the same amount, but I couldn't find the exact amount. But I have some of the other ones I'll talk about, like how many grams you're getting in of each and stuff, but I don't usually go like that in depth in my type of reviews. But I couldn't find that, and there wasn't anything on these about that. I did not purchase these myself. I actually got them as a gift from a subscriber named Jordan, so a big thank you to her because I wanted to purchase these. They came out last Christmas, I want to say. It was like the day after Christmas or something they released, and I missed them, and I was super bummed about it. And when they came back, she actually sent them to me, which I thought was very, very exciting. So a big thank you to her, because when I tried these out, I immediately was like, whoa, these are really freaking good. I feel like the formula in here is definitely different from some of the original like 35 palettes from Morphe that I was trying out, like the 350, the 35T, things like that. So I think this one is definitely more similar to like the 35R palette, which I really enjoy. And then also, I've heard a lot of people say that this formula is exactly the same as the new Jaclyn Hill in Morphe palette, and I'm not sure. I think people have even said they've like looked up the ingredients, but I still do like that Jaclyn Hill palette just a little bit better. But seriously, this is a really good eyeshadow formula. And if you don't like the big 35 palettes that Morphe has, which are like $22, I think, I mean, these are definitely smaller, more compact, like easy to travel with and all of that. You're just getting a few less shades, but again, they are the $18 versus the, I think they're now $23 across the board for the 35 palettes from Morphe. So the formula to me in both of these are exactly the same. I don't really notice much of a difference between them formula wise. I feel like the 25A has more metallic shimmers in here. I like that you get a mixture of matte and shimmers across each of them, but this one I feel like definitely has more like pop-in shimmer shades to play with, especially the gold, which I feel like I don't even have to point at the gold because it just pops immediately, but that is a very beautiful gold. So I like the 25A for that reason. Again, I just feel like with some of these like lighter transition shades, the brown shades, the taupe shades, etc., I feel like you're basically getting the same shades across both the palettes. The difference I feel like is that in this palette you're getting a little bit more of these darker tones down here. You have the deeper browns, you have kind of like a deep plum over here. Some of these shimmer shades are a little bit darker. And then when you go over into the 25A, you have some of the lighter shades at the bottom here, some of these lighter shimmer colors, that gold. This is a really pretty kind of like pinky taupe color. But you do also get some dark ones down here, and then you also do get a black in the 25A as well. I feel like with the 25A, you're just getting a little bit more diversity in here. You're getting a little bit more shade selection than you do in the 25B. And like I said, I also do prefer kind of the metallic shimmers in this one compared to the 25B. So while they are extremely similar to one another, do I think that you need both of these palettes? No, because they are so similar with just a few different tweaks amongst them. Of course, as with everything, makeup is personal preference. So when I'm choosing a winner for these and listing my reasons, my reason that something is a winner could be the reason that you would choose that as the loser. So keep that in mind, and keep that in mind in the comments, of course, that this is all personal preference. But if what I'm saying is a pro to you, then you would probably enjoy the winner that I am picking. But for the reasons that I said, just more diversity in here, the more metallic colors in here, I would prefer the 25A, and this would be the winner across the sister palettes from the 25A and the 25B. Again, I don't think that you need both, but if you love eyeshadow palettes and you're an eyeshadow palette collector and you don't think the $18 is a bad price for two of them, they are both really nice eyeshadow palettes, really good quality in here, and I really do enjoy both of them. But if I am putting them head to head against one another, 25A is the winner. All right, next up for the round two, we are going to be talking about pastel eyeshadow palettes. So we are going to be putting up the Lorac Brunch palette against the Sigma Crème de Couture palette. Okay, so for the Lorac Brunch palette, it is $44. This is a limited edition palette, and I do not think it is available anymore, but in case you have both of these or they come back at some point, you know, you never know when palettes are going to come back up. You don't know when they're going to come on Outlook. You don't know when you're going to find them at like a TJ Maxx and that sort of thing. So I did want to mention that, but it is limited edition. You get 16 shades in here. You also get a mirror. Each shade is 0.48 ounces, or you get 14.24 grams overall with the Brunch palette from Lorac. So there is what that one looks like. And then the Sigma palette that we are comparing, this is the Crème de Couture. It came out in the holiday collection this past holiday season. Again, it is limited edition, and I don't think it's available anymore. If it is, for sure, I will leave it listed down below. But I do hope Sigma brings this one back, because I know a lot of people really did enjoy it. This one is $39. You get 16 shades, you get a mirror, you get 0.41 ounces or 11.68 total grams of product. And here is what the inside of this one looks like. $44 versus $39, you get the same amount of shades in each one, but you actually do get more shades overall with the Lorac one, which initially surprised me. I really thought it was going to be the Sigma, but it was the Lorac that gave you more. Now, I will say that not a lot of people seem to enjoy this Lorac palette. I put it in the Makeup I Love That Everyone Hates video, I'm pretty sure. And while I wouldn't say, and I believe I said it in that video, it's not something that I absolutely love and adore, but I still did like the palette. I did purchase this one myself, and I did not return it. I did get this one from Sigma and PR, and I am a Sigma affiliate. The Lorac palette, I will definitely say that, I mean, it's very much a pastel palette, and you can tell when looking at it, but I will say that the shades are very kind of like hit and miss across the board. Some of them are extremely beautiful. Avocado Toast, I really enjoyed. Blueberry Scone, I thought that one was really nice as well. While there are some nice shades in here that look really pretty on the eyes, it just was a little bit hit and miss. With the Sigma Crème de Couture palette, one of the first things that I noticed with this one is, of course, it is a pastel palette. You can tell from looking at it, but I feel like you can tell the difference right off the bat between this one and the Lorac one, that this is just more vibrant, and that definitely comes across on the eyes as well. Like, yes, you're still creating a pastel look, but the colors are more poppin' and more vibrant on the lids, which I really do appreciate. Another thing that I will say about this palette from Sigma that I really enjoyed was that I feel like you get more transition colors in here to create a complete eye look. I didn't quite feel like I could create a complete eye look with the Lorac Brunch. I was having to go into another palette for transition colors, colors to put on the outer part of my lid to kind of deepen up the eye look and that sort of thing. So I felt like I was more limited with the looks that I could create as a whole with this palette than with the Sigma palette, because you have like apricot flower or passion fruit that you can put as a transition color, and then you even have this deeper brown shade over here, or ginger pumpkin, that you can put on the outer part of the lid, and then you still have all these beautiful fun colors that you can play with. So I did enjoy that one out of the Sigma palette. The Lorac palette, really the only ones that I could use was Sorbet and Mimosa, and both of those are still so light. I have to take a really long time to blend them into the crease to get them to show up. And then again, those were my only two options, and this one has more of a pinky tone and this one has more of an orange tone. tones, so sometimes depending on what color I was going to come with on the lid, it didn't quite work. I also felt like when building up the colors with both of these palettes, you just had to take longer with the Lorac Brunch. No matter what color it was that I was putting on the lid, I would just have to take a longer amount of time. The shimmers definitely do require a setting spray or like some sort of damp brush when putting them on the lid, and it just took longer. With the Sigma palette, this one is all mattes versus mattes and shimmers like the Lorac Brunch, but you don't have to take up a lot of time with this one, and you're still getting a more vibrant eye look out of it. So between the two, the Sigma Crème de Couture and then also the Lorac Brunch, the winner in this category for the pastel palettes would be the Sigma Crème de Couture. It's also a little bit cheaper. Again, if both of these palettes were available right now, this one would be the more affordable option, and this is the one that I would recommend. Enjoy creating pastel looks. I think that you would really get a lot of use out of this one, and I really did enjoy it. So round 2 winner goes to Sigma. Okay, I tried to bump up my brightness on my camera, not with camera settings, but I don't know if I did it, but it's kind of dark here today, but it's actually warmer, so the snow is melting, so it's not as bright outside, which I've been complaining about it being too bright outside, and now I'm like, hey, it's not bright enough. Where's the sun? Anyways, moving on to round 3, we're going to be talking about colorful palettes in this round. So we are going to be talking about the Urban Decay Heavy Metal eyeshadow palette versus the Kevyn Aucoin Electropop eyeshadow palette. Alrighty then. So for the Urban Decay, this is $55. I did see it's for sale right now for $39 on the Sephora website, but the original retail price of this one is $55. You get 20 eyeshadows, and then you also do get a mirror. I believe this one is limited edition because it was a part of the holiday release, but it didn't say that on Sephora, but I think that one is limited edition. And then the second palette that we have here is the Kevyn Aucoin Electropop palette. This one is $57. You do get 12 different shades. You also do get a mirror, and this one is a confirmed limited edition eyeshadow palette. I do want to say that I did receive both of these in PR, which is always super exciting for me. So I will say right off the bat that packaging wise, the Kevyn Aucoin one wins this battle because it's just the kind of like nice little regular packaging. It's easy to travel with, it's small, it's compact, it has the nice mirror right there. Like, it's packaging wise, it's a yes. The Urban Decay one, I mean, the packaging on this one is cool. Do not get me wrong, it's cool and funky, but I will also say the first time that I was taking this out, what you do is you kind of press the side here and then the palette comes out. I did not realize that, and the first time that I went to do it, I popped it like this and the palette went shooting out, and I grabbed it and it almost hit the floor and shattered everywhere. I did not know my reflexes were that fast, but I'm glad that they were because that was almost a disaster the very first time I opened the palette. And just inside, the layout is a little bit different, and I get it, and it's cool and all of that, but it's a little bit different. The mirror placement is a little bit different, and if you're a YouTuber making a video like this, it's kind of challenging with this packaging. So there's that, you know, like traveling wise and things like that, it's a little bit harder to travel with kind of a bigger, bulkier palette like this. So packaging wise, I gotta give it to Kevyn Aucoin. You do get more shades in the Urban Decay, 20 versus the 12 with the Kevyn Aucoin, and I think that you get more of a variety of different shades in this one, which I think is to be expected if you're getting 8 shades. So I do kind of have to cover up the mirror here to try to give you a close-up, but I mean, you really have a lot of shade variety in here, even though on this side it almost kind of looks like you don't because you have a bunch of different browns up here, but instead of being super similar to one another, they are different enough, which I do appreciate. Not only are these colorful palettes, but they are both shimmer palettes as well, so I do want to point that out. So I feel like you're getting just a bigger shade range in here from the browns, the golds, the light shades. You have greens, you have blues, you have reds, you know, the cranberry colors in here and all of that, which I do appreciate. Going over to the Kevyn Aucoin, here is a bit of a close-up of this palette. I still do think that you're getting a nice variety of shades. We have like a brown in there, a kind of like a muted yellow gold, a very nice light purple. The teal in here is really beautiful. There's a blue, and you also have your really deep shade back here. This formula in the Kevyn Aucoin palette I feel like is really kind of different because it's almost like a cream to powder shadow versus just straight powder, which I feel like is what you get in the Urban Decay. So the texture on these is a little bit different, but the majority of the shades in here are really, really nice, and I feel like they show up really well. You don't need a damp brush for every single shade, but they're just a little bit more pigmented and popping with that damp brush. But I feel like in here, like, this is a really, really nice eyeshadow palette. I will say though that with the Urban Decay, I like this one just a smidge more, and it's because I really feel like there's just more variety of shades in here, and I can really complete still a full makeup look, which sounds weird because there's no mattes in here. But what I like to do with this palette is I like to create kind of like a halo shimmer eye with this one, and I've done it quite a bit with different shades in here. One of my first looks that I did with this palette was I put After Party in the outer part and the inner part of my eye. I came in with this shade over here called Punk Rock. I put that in the center of the lid, and I thought it came out so pretty. I've done a lot of different all shimmer halo eyes with this one, and I feel like it just looks really beautiful. I love that we have, you know, kind of the more neutral colors over here, and I like that we can go super funky. I like that we have some like highlight shades over here for the inner corner and the brow bone, and then I like that we go deep, that we go light. Like, I just feel like there's a few more options in the Urban Decay than there is in the Kevyn Aucoin. This one was probably the hardest though to choose between, because I think both palettes are really phenomenal. Like, these ones were like head to head, especially when you compare price. They're only $2 apart. Yes, you get 8 more shades in here, but the packaging is better on this one. So I was like, how do I choose a winner out of this one? But I really did want to choose a winner, and I think my winner, I know my winner, is the Urban Decay Heavy Metal palette. I like this one just a little bit more, and I have found myself reaching for it a little bit more. So this is going to be the winner of round 3 is the Urban Decay Heavy Metal, but truly, I don't think you can go wrong with either palette. Alrighty, and then our 4th and final round today is going to be dupe eyeshadow palettes. So we are going to be talking about the Makeup Revolution Light and Shade eyeshadow palette compared to the Bad Habit Aphrodite eyeshadow palette. So the Makeup Forever is a dupe for the Kat Von D Shade and Light contour palette. The Bad Habit Aphrodite is a dupe for the Huda Beauty Rose Gold eyeshadow palette, I believe it is. I do own the dupe for this one, or the one that this one duped. I own the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I do not own the Huda Beauty palette, so I can't actually compare them both other palettes for them, but I'm just going to be comparing these two together, but I thought it could be maybe a bit of a fun category. So for the Makeup Revolution, this one is $15. You can get it on the Ulta website as well. It is 14 grams total. You get 12 shades. There is no mirror in this one, and the packaging is just kind of like plastic packaging, like nothing super fancy about this one. With the Bad Habit Aphrodite palette, this one is $12. You are getting 18 grams of product, and you get 18 shades. There is a mirror, and the packaging is just quite a bit nicer than the Makeup Revolution packaging. You have the nice mirror there. Right off the bat, this one is not only cheaper, you get more overall product inside, you get more shades, you get a mirror, and you have better packaging. A downside to this one though is it's not as easily accessible, whereas this one can also be found on the Ulta website. This one was sent to me from Shop Hush, so you can get it on Shop Hush or the Shop Hush app or the Bad Habit website, but it's not available at retailers such as Ulta, whereas this one is. So that is a pro, I believe, for the Makeup Revolution palette. I'll say one thing that didn't make me super happy about this palette is, you know, not only are both of these dupe palettes, and they look, you know, extremely similar to the higher end palettes that we're talking about. I think one thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way about this one is that they called it the Light and Shade palette, where the Kat Von D is the Shade and Light. I was like, you couldn't do anything different? Like, you couldn't even give it a different name? Like, no, like that one kind of rubbed me the wrong way with this one, whereas with this one, I mean, at least it's called the Aphrodite palette, and they didn't call it like the Gold Rose palette, because what? So that's one thing I'll say about the Makeup Forever eyeshadow palette. I have had this one for a while. I did purchase this one myself from Ulta. Like I said, this one was sent to me. I did purchased this one myself from Ulta, and I mean, it's exactly identical to the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I will say with this one, I do not think it is good as the Kat Von D. I still think they're very blendable eyeshadows, but they're definitely not the most pigmented that I've ever seen, and really, I barely reach for this palette. If I want to go for my all matte kind of neutral look, I'm going into the Kat Von D Shade and Light. I think they're even more blendable than this palette, and I think they're more pigmented, and I don't have to put as much work into the original palette than I do with this palette. This one, you can tell, like, it is the $15 version of a higher price palette. It's good, but it's not that good. So that's what I'll say about that. Again, with this one, I can't compare it to the Dupe palette, but I have used this several times. I will say that this is a really nice eyeshadow palette. I've been having very good luck. I haven't used every single shade out of it yet, but I've gotten pretty darn close to it, and I've really liked what I've been able to create. I think that they are nice and blendable. The shimmers so far I'm having a great time with, and I really enjoy this shade selection in here. You do get a mixture of matte and shimmers versus the Makeup Revolution, which is all mattes, but I just feel like I'm creating some really fun makeup looks. And I love the color selection in here. The packaging is definitely better on this one. I enjoy that you get a mirror. Overall, I just think you have more of a shade selection. You have better shades in here, and you have more variety of the different looks that you can create, and also the packaging is a lot better. The only downside to this one is that, again, it's not as easily accessible as the Makeup Revolution, but for the fourth and final round for this one, the winner of the Dupe palette battle is going to be the Habit Aphrodite palette. Alrighty guys, so that is going to do it for my first beauty battle makeup video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, or you think it's a fun idea. If you do, and if you want to see more of them, please do let me know in the comments. Again, let me know any other categories you'd want to see, whether with eyeshadow palettes, or is there another part of the makeup collection that you would want to see, some other categories or products that you want to see against each other. I would love to know. I just thought this could be a little bit of a fun idea. Maybe I could do a video like once a month or so if you guys are interested in the beauty battle series. But I had a lot of fun with this one, and it kind of was fun to kind of look up each of the different products and really kind of set the palettes out and compare them. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, of course, I hope that you will give it a thumbs up. I hope that you will also consider subscribing before you go, and I will catch you guys in tomorrow's video.